Good evening. Is this on? I don't need it anyway. Good evening. I was just reminded, before I even tell you my name, to please turn off your cell phones. That done, hello. My name is Walter Ritter. I'm the executive director and the co-founder of Write Out Loud. I would like to introduce to you the vice chair of the San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture, Mr. Tyler Hughes.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for being here this evening. As Walter said, my name is Tyler Richards Hughes, and it is my honor to serve as the Vice Chair of the City of San Diego's Commission for Arts and Culture. On behalf of both the Commission for Arts and Culture and the City of San Diego's Department of Cultural Affairs, I warmly welcome all of you to our regional division of the National Poetry Recitation Competition, Poetry Out Loud. This competition represents a powerful partnership with the National Poetry Foundation, the National Endowment for the Arts, the California Arts Council, the City of San Diego's Department of Cultural Affairs, and Write Out Loud. First, I want to recognize the incredible students participating in Poetry Out Loud. Your hard work and dedication have led you to this exciting stanza in time. Let's give them a round of applause. Additionally, a very heartfelt thanks goes out to the family, friends, and teachers of these participants. Your unwavering support has made this experience possible. I extend our gratitude to Write Out Loud for their steadfast support of Poetry Out Loud and their leadership. And if you'll excuse this financial advisor's poor attempt at poetry in honor of the evening, a Whoville of poets, a sight to behold, gathered here tonight, stories to be told. The City of San Diego, hooray, hip hip hooray, with Cultural Affairs shouts poetry today. Poetry Out Loud, a contest so grand across the whole region, throughout the land. Write Out Loud, you've made this thing sing with rhymes and with rhythms, with the joys that they bring. So students, you've worked, you've toiled, and you've strived. Your poems are ready, your spirit's alive. Let us celebrate the beauty and power of poetry. With that, I'm happy to turn things back to Walt Ritter of Write Out Loud.
Thank you very much, Tyler. We're so very happy to have all of you with us, whether you're here live in the library or here courtesy of Anthill Productions, owned and operated by Mr. Kevin Anthonell, on the stream, online live stream. Or whether you are here as a participant or someone cheering on one or more participants. We want to make sure to extend a very big, a huge thank you to Emily Derry and the San Diego Public Library for hosting us each year for this and other literature-based events in a variety of the library branches. Poetry Out Loud is presented locally by the City of San Diego Department of Cultural Affairs in association with Write Out Loud in partnership with the National Endowment for the Arts, the National Poetry Foundation, and the California Arts Council. All of the participants you will see here have already competed at the preliminary level, earning themselves a place to represent their school tonight in the regional finals. We have students competing from across San Diego County representing Academy of Our Lady of Peace, Canyon Crest Academy, Pacific Ridge School, and Valley Center High School. Students will recite 2 poems, and each poem will be judged on 6 areas: physical presence, voice and articulation, dramatic appropriateness, evidence of understanding, overall performance, and accuracy. There will be 2 rounds of poems this evening. and there will be a 10-minute break between rounds 1 and 2. We invite those of you here at the library, to enjoy the refreshments located in the back of this room provided by the East County Women's Club. And we are honored to have our distinguished panel of judges, including San Diego's newly selected poet laureate, Paola Capo Garcia, who is both a translator and poet, originally from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Her book, Clap for Me That's Not Me, winner of the 2017 Black Box Poetry Prize, is forthcoming from Rescue Press this year. She is the co-founder and editor of Littletell Publishing. Also, poet, singer, and retired UC San Marcos professor of creative writing, our accuracy judge, Brandon Sema, is the past president of the California Poets in the Schools and was an inaugural judge in the first Poetry Out Loud state finals in 2005. Next, poet, board member of San Diego Performing Arts League, and founder, executive artistic director of Cultural Noir Performing Arts Company, Gina Jackson, is also a poetry teacher. Poet Michael Clam is the executive editor of the San Diego Poetry Annual and hosts the Poetry and Arts series at the San Diego Library. He edited A Year in Ink, Volume 6 of the San Diego Writers Inc. anthologies, and also is a partner with the Border of Voices Poetry Project. Brian Mackey is a well-known San Diego actor and associate artistic director of the North Coast Repertory Theater. Anushka Majumdar, our youth representative on the panel, is a gifted poet, a sophomore at Scripps Ranch High School, and the 2024 San Diego Regional Poetry Out Loud champion. Our prompter is Associate Artistic Director and Education Coordinator for Write Out Loud, as well as an actor, playwright, and teaching artist, Rachel Van Warmer. Thank you all for being here tonight. At the end of round 2, while the scores are being tallied, students will have an opportunity to read or recite a poem of their choice. Now, these poems, some of which are original, will not be judged, but they are for the pleasure of the students and of the audience. After both rounds are complete, all finalists will be presented with a Poetry Out Loud Regional Finalist Certificate, and the winner and runner-up will then be announced. Tonight's winner will advance to compete at the state level in Sacramento in March. The runner-up will be standing by if for any reason the San Diego champion cannot move on to the state finals. The winner of the California state finals will advance to the national finals in Washington, D.C. for a chance to win $20,000. Now that we're ready to get started, I would like to introduce our first participant, Gia Gutierrez.
Translations from the English by George Starbuck for Arthur Freeman. Pigfoot with aces under passes. The heat's on the hooker, drops on the lamb. Cops got booker. Who give a damn? The kid's been had, but not me yet. Dad's in his pad. No sweat. Margaret, are you drug? Cool it, Mag. Sure to drag. With all that green flaked out, next thing you know, they'll be changing the color of bread. But look, chick, why panic? 70, 80 years, we'll all be dead. Roll with it, kid. I did. Give it the old benefit of the doubt. I mean, leaves, schmeaves. You sure you ain't just feeling sorry for yourself? Lamb, lamb, what makes you tick? You got a wind-up, a battery-powered, a flywheel, a plug-in, or what? You made out of real fur? You fall out the window, you bust, you shrink, turn into a no-no, zip open and have pups? I bet you better than that. I bet you put out by some other outfit. I bet you don't do nothing. I bet you something to eat. Daddy Gander's newfound runes. Rain, rain, grow the hay, grow the weeds another day. If I die before I wake, skip it. Little boy blue, come blow. Can't man, learning a new instrument. What's with the old one? Where'd you get the new one? Found it in a haystack, man. Old Mother Hubbard, decently covered, went to her final reward. She had to laugh. Manger was half empty and half kennel. Old Shep, at it again, living on principle. I fired a missile up. It came down. Maybe it stayed up. Things ain't much like they used to be.
Isla Madison.
Dawn Chorus by Sasha Dugdale. March 29th, 2010. Every morning since the time changed, I have woken to the dawn chorus. And even before it sounded, I dreamed of it. Loud, unbelievably loud, shameless, raucous. And once I rose and twitched the curtains apart, expecting the birds to be pressing in fright against the pane like passengers. But the garden was empty, and it was night. Not a slither of light at the horizon. Still, the birds were bawling through the mists. Terrible, invisible, a million small evangelists. How they sing, as if each had pecked up a smoldering coal, their throats singed and swollen with song, in dissonance as befits the dark world where only travelers and the sleepless belong.
Regina Martinez.
I felt a funeral in my brain. Emily Dickinson. I felt a funeral in my brain. Mourners to and fro kept treading till it seemed that sense was breaking through. And when all were seated, the service, like a drum, kept beating, beating, till I thought my mind was going numb. And then I heard them lift the box, and a creak across my soul. With those same boots of lead again, then space began to toll. And if all the heavens were a bell, being but an ear, and I, and silence, some strange race, wrecked, solitary, here. And then a plank in reason broke, and I dropped down and down, and hit a world at every plunge, finished knowing then.
Ixchel Roman Medina.
Songs for the People by Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. Let me make the songs for the people, songs for the old and young, songs to steer like a battle cry wherever there is song. Not for the clashing of sabers, for carnage, nor for strife, but songs to thrill the hearts of men with more abundant life. Let me make the songs for the weary amid life's fever and fret, till hearts shall relax their tension and careworn brows forget. Let me sing for little children before their footsteps stray, sweet anthems of love and duty to float o'er life's highway. I would sing for the poor and aged when shadows dim their sight of the bright and restful mansions where there shall be no night. Our world, so worn and weary, needs music pure and strong to hush the jangle and discords of sorrow, pain, and wrong. Music to soothe all its sorrow till war and crime shall cease, and the hearts of men, grown tender, girdle the world with peace.
Kimia Mustafi.
Caged Bird by Maya Angelou. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends and dips his wing in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown, belonged for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill. For the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn-bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill. For the caged bird sings of freedom.
Sylvie Turgison.
Cartoon Physics, Part 1, by Nick Flynn. Children under, say, 10, shouldn't know that the universe is ever expanding, inexorably pushing into the vacuum, galaxies swallowed by galaxies, whole solar systems collapsing. All of it acted out in silence. At 10, we are still learning the rules of cartoon animation, that if a man draws a door on a rock, only he can pass through it. Anyone else who tries will crash into the rock. 10-year-olds should stick with burning houses, car wrecks, ships going down, earthbound, tangible disasters, arenas where they can be heroes. You can run back into a burning house. Sinking ships have lifeboats. The trucks will come with their ladders. If you jump, you will be saved. A child places her hand on the roof of a school bus and drives across a city of sand. She knows the exact spot it will skid, at which point the bridge will give, who will swim to safety and who will be pulled under by sharks. She will learn that if a man runs off the edge of a cliff, he will not fall until he notices his mistake.
Kairos Reyes. Oh, I apologize. Malachus Schlater Julian.
Recess by Maria Hummel. This is the sound of the bell. It rings full of brass, and the end it brings. Once for the children, once for the child who sits alone. His eyes hurt and mild. He waits, holding his things. Time should hold no meaning for him yet. You don't learn how to play. You forget. But he knows a while well and longs for the clang of the bell. A bell is a room of nothing. No. A dome with a hidden swing. A will, a sway, a tone, a peal. The beginning of song. The wild crowd nears. Passes, laughing. Here is the sound of the bell. Thank you.
Kairos Reyes.
The Conqueror Worm by Edgar Allan Poe. Lo, 'tis the gallant knights within the lonesome latter years. An angel throng, bewinged, bedight in veils and drowned in tears, sit in a theater to see a play of hopes and fears, while the orchestra breathes fitfully the music of the spheres. Mimes in the form of God on high mutter and mumble low, and hither and thither fly mere puppets. They who come and go at bidding of vast, formless things that shift the scenery to and fro, flapping from out their condor wings, invisible woe. That motley drama, oh, be sure it shall not be forgot, with its phantom chased forevermore by a crowd that sees it not, through a circle that ever returneth into the self same spot, and much of madness and more of sin and horror the soul of the plot. But see, amid the mimic rout, a crawling shape intrude, a blood-red thing that writhes from out the scenic solitude. It writhes with mortal pangs. The mimes become its food, and seraphs sob at vermin fangs. In human gore, imbued. Out are the lights, out all, and over each quivering form. The curtain, a funeral pall, comes down with the rush of a storm, while the angels, all pallid and wan, uprising, unveiling, affirm that the play is the tragedy, man, and its hero, the conqueror worm.
That's it. Congratulations, all you participants, for a successful round one. We will now take a 10-minute break so you can stretch, grab something to eat or drink in the back of the room before returning for round 2. Yes. Would all the contestants please come back to your seats on the stage? Welcome back. It's round 2. We will go in the same order as in the first round, beginning with Gia Gutierrez.
Lakmi Mosi by Yusuf Komanyaka. The Riverstones are listening because we have something to say. The trees lean closer today. The singing of the electrical woods has gone dumb. It looks like rain because it is too warm to snow. Guardian angels, wherever you're hiding, we know you can't be everywhere at once. Have you corralled all the pretty wild horses? The memory of ants asleep in daylilies, roses, holly, and larkspur. The magpies gaze at us still waiting. Riverstones are listening, but all we can say now is mercy, please. Rock me.
Isla Madison.
Figure by Robert Wrigley. You want a piece of me to see from the flesh of me, a flesh from within me no one's ever seen, not me, nor the mother or the lovers of me, a piece that will have been me, but then no longer me, instead a synecdoche of me, or possibly metonymy, a figure of speech of me in contiguity or association with me, a part for the whole of me, a sliver that once was me, so that you might perceive the end of me?
Regina Martinez.
Future Memories by Mario Melendez, translated by Eloisa Amezcua. My sister woke me up very early that morning and told me, "Get up! You have to see this! The ocean's filled with stars!" Delighted by the revelation, I dressed quickly and thought, if the ocean's filled with stars, I must take the first flight and collect all the fish from the sky.
Ixchel Roman Medina.
After Love by Sarah Tisdale. There is no magic anymore. We meet as other people do. You work no miracle for me, nor I for you. You were the wind and I the sea. There is no splendor anymore. I have grown listless as the pool beside the shore. But though the pool is safe from storm and from the tide has found surcease, it grows more bitter than the sea for all its peace.
Kimia Mustafi.
Acquainted with the Night by Robert Frost. I have been one acquainted with the night. I have walked out in rain and back in rain. I have outwalked the furthest city light. I have looked down the saddest city lane. I have passed the watchman on his beat and dropped my eyes, unwilling to explain. I have stood still and stopped the sound of feet when far away an interrupted cry came over houses from another street, but not to call me back or say goodbye. And further still, at an unearthly height, one luminary clock against the sky proclaimed the time was neither wrong nor right. I have been one acquainted with the night.
Sylvie Turgison.
The Consent by Howard Nemerov. Late in November, on a single night, not even near to freezing, the ginkgo trees that stand along the walk drop all their leaves in one consent. And neither to rain nor to wind, but as though to time alone, the golden and green. Leaves litter the lawn today that yesterday had spread aloft their fluttering fans of light. What signal from the stars? What senses took it in? What in those wooden motives so decided to strike their leaves, to down their leaves? Rebellion or surrender? And if this can happen thus, what race shall be exempt? What use to learn the lessons taught by time if a star at any time may tell us now?
Mollicus Schlater Julian.
Pineapple by Ishwar Gupta. Translated by Arvind Krishna Mehrotra. Such is their greed that no part is thrown away. Not crown, not base, not even the eyes gouged out from the rind by the eye-eaters. But why do I speak ill of them? I'm no better. When I throw away the rind, my eyes fill with tears. I don't want to be called eye-eater by others. Add a dash of salt, a squeeze of lime, a spoon of sugar as divine as Chaitanya. Eat it bit by bit. Let the mouth fill with juice and watch the child Krishna dance and drool. Thank you.
Kairos Reyes.
Spring Snow by Arthur C. A spring snow coincides with plum blossoms. In a month, you will forget. Then remember when 9 ravens perched in the elms sway in wind. I will remember when I break to a stop and a hubcap rolls through the intersection. An angry man grinds pepper onto his salad. It is how you nail a tin amulet ear into the lintel. If in deep emotion we are possessed by the idea of possession, we can never lose to recover what is ours. Sounds of an abacus are amplified and condensed to resemble sounds of hail on a tin roof. But mind opens to the smell of lightning. Bodies were vaporized to shadows by intense heat. In memory, people outline bodies on walls.
Thank you all of you participants, for wonderful work. A huge congratulations to each and every one of you for your commitment, your talent, and your generosity. Your judges are working on the final scores and tabulation for the very exciting announcement that's coming right up. But in the meantime, do we happen to have anybody who would care to recite? Please step right up.
One moment, please. Consulting an elder poet on an anti-war poem by Dewani Niatam for Elizabeth Bishop. One day you said to me, "There's nothing you can do," and recited Auden's line, "Poetry makes nothing happen." And although I honor your pinched music, the poems you dipped in light, those pulsing like a rainbow before slipping from our sight, I wanted to ask you why several dives out of the self. A sweet woman's open caress. 100 books with stories gyrating with people and places never diminished my confusion. You did agree that at least old Socrates was right in telling his Athenian friends that governments are only that. A person with many heads that cannot think as one. History will go on showing them swing from peace to war and back again. In one wide gallows sweep, just as the pendulum of the world's clocks returns its towns to craters. 15 cobalt blue years later, I must ask myself if the dust and rubble of each new year that settles in our bones and deadens a generation are little more than negatives of the Kennedys, King, and Lenin. Has less weight than what we felt the day the Apollo spaceship landed on the moon. And Auden's line is true. So why did you, till your last breath, sing into your ruin? Thank you.
Xenophobia by Ray Armantrout. 1 must represent the governess, for, of course, the creature itself could not inspire such terror. Staring at me fixedly. No trace of recognition. When the window opened of its own accord in the big walnut tree were 6 or 7 wolves. Strained attention. They were white. The fear of cloudy skies like strangers after 5 years. Misgiving, misdoubt. 2, the fear that one is dreaming. The moon was shining. Suddenly, everything around me appeared the fear of unfamiliar. Wild vista, inside or near the home, dread of bearing a monster. If I failed to overlook the torn cushions, 3 teapots side by side, strewn towels, socks, papers, both foreign and stale. 3, When I saw the home was rotten, crumbling away from the glass, in spots, in other places still attached with huge globs of putty. The doctor forced me to repeat the word, chimera, cold feet. Scared and unreal, looking at buildings, the thin Victorians with scaly paint, their flimsy back porches linked by skeletal stairways. 4. After 5 years, the fear that you are not at home. I was sitting in the alcove where I never sit when I noticed a single eye, crudely drawn in pencil, in a corner near the floor. The paint was blistering. Beneath it, I saw white. 5. Sparrows settle on the sagging wires. Fear of sights not turned to words. Horrific. Grisly. Rumpelstiltskin. Not my expression. Not my net of veins beneath thin skin. A morbid dread of throbbing of its own accord. Thank you.
A Migration by Anonymous. There's a great migration within us all, a migration that calls with the deep-throated voice of the land. In the old days, they called this the New World. The world is no longer new, but our hearts do not yet know this. We crawl out of the riverbed of the womb, clutching a dream that dies the second our lungs breathe the poison air. When the tide goes out, I will go with it. I have never learned to do anything else.
Any other performers? How are we doing? Oh. One short piece? Yes, you're doing your due diligence, aren't you? Ah.
This is one I actually found like 20 minutes ago. And if I am right, it is just an excerpt of Kafka, and it is Cold and Hard is the title they've given it. Today is cold and hard. The clouds freeze. The winds are tugging ropes. The people freeze. The footsteps sound metallic on ore-bearing stones, and the eyes look wide, white lakes. In the old town stand small, bright Christmas cottages. Their colorful windows look out on the snow-covered square. In the moonlight, a silent man walks into the shadow. His big shadow is blown along the cottages by the wind. People who cross dark bridges, past saints with little dim lights. Clouds that drift across the gray sky, past churches with twilight towers, one who leans against the ashlar parapet and looks into the evening water, hands on old stones.
I think they're very close. Well, when you do, just step up to the microphone. Do you have a poem you'd like to do? You're quite sure? All righty.
Someone jump up there and tell us your favorite thing about Poetry Out Loud. Bird. Nothing to say. We didn't like it. We have nothing to say.
To fill time, of course. Poetry Out Loud's been amazing just because, being honest, a week before our school competition, I didn't have anything. And then 2 days before the school competition, I didn't remember one of the poems. But I didn't realize how much poetry actually can be. And I've actually really enjoyed everything in general, making me feel like I kind of add precision in like almost everything now in terms of the way I talk. Like I can't read something without it sounding like I'm trying to recite poetry. And compared to last year where I absolutely did not do very well and mostly did it for the extra credit. But it was really fun, and seeing all the kids on stage, just especially this stage, I can't really think of a better group of kids to go against. And I was going into this hoping that I would really win, but now after seeing everyone else, it's like I'm not going to be surprised if I don't, because some really good people on this stage, and I just wanted to thank everyone who made Poetry Out Loud possible, for us and for anyone, very few people, who watched the live stream. So, thank you.
It's a poem I had sitting in the back of my brain but wasn't on the Poetry Out Loud website, so it's called The Orange by Wendy Cope. At lunchtime, I bought a huge orange. The size of us made us all laugh. I peeled it and shared it with Robert and Dave. They got quarters. I had a half. And that orange, it made me so happy, as ordinary things often do. Just lately, the shopping, a walk in the park, this peace and contentment, it's new. The rest of the day was quite easy. I did all the jobs on my list. I enjoyed them and had some extra time over. I love you. I'm glad I exist.
You found it.
Okay. How Dark the Beginning by Maggie Smith. All we ever talk of is light. Let there be light. There was light then, good light. But what I consider dawn is darker than all that. So many hours between the day, reading in what we recognize as morning, the sun cresting like a wave that won't break over us, as if light were protective, as if no hearts were flayed, no bodies broken on a day like today. In any film, the sunrise tells us everything will be all right. Danger wouldn't dare show up now, dragging its shadow across the screen. We talk so much of light. Please, let me speak on behalf of the good dark. Let us talk more of how dark the beginning of a day is.
Okay. I'm now going to turn the microphone over to Veronica Murphy to announce the winners.
I'm sure I'm going to need your help with the names. Okay, let me just tell you, this was really close. So that's why we were taking so long, double checking everything. And so what we're going to do first is give out the certificates for all of the finalists except for the champion and the runner-up. So we will start with Walter. You're going to say the names, and I'm going to give the certificates.
Gia Gutierrez. Isla Madison. Regina Martinez. Camilla Mustafi. Sylvie Turgison. Kairos Reyes.
Okay. So, first I'm going to announce the runner-up, and the runner-up wins $50 and is the person that will go to Sacramento if the champion is not for some reason able to go. And Walter, I need your help with this name.
Ichel Roman Medina.
Okay, well, I guess we know who the winner is.
Malakas Schlater Julian.
I forgot to tell you that Malakas wins $100 for being the champion. And I really just have to tell you, because I'm scoring, I don't get to look, so I don't even know who was reciting, but I get to listen to all these fabulous poems and these amazing students who work so hard. It was just thrilling, really thrilling. And as I said, it was very, very close. So thank you all. And please don't dash off just yet, because we would like to get some pictures. This is Frank. He's our photographer. And Frank, did you get, I know you wanted some pictures of the judges. Did you get that? Can you guys come up? Yeah, the tall in the back.
Can I go ahead and just make these final remarks while you're doing? I don't want to interrupt you. Okay, great. So I want to say thank you again to Tyler Hughes.
Yes.
To the judges, to the volunteers, to the San Diego Public Library, to you, the audience. Thank you so much, here and at home, and especially to the student participants, the San Diego Department of Cultural Affairs, the teachers, the students. Now, I encourage all of you to make a commitment to memorize a poem. In fact, for students in grades kindergarten through 12th, it's not too late to enter an original poem in Let Your Voice Be Heard. You can read all about that program of Write Out Louds on the back of your program.
For you poets, please consider entering our Let Your Voice Be Heard. There's information on the back of the program, so make sure you take that with you. And you just go to the website and it will give you everything you need to enter.
And,
Thank you all so much.
and finally,
Oh, sorry. Who wrote this?
join us again here in the Neil Morgan Auditorium of the Central Library on the 22nd of April for the NEA Big Read, Read, Imagine, Create Student Celebration and Presentation. Thank you all, and good night.
Good job, Walter. Is Zachary here from Canyon Crest?